I imagine that she was rather annoying. She had a piercing voice. She had a persistence in her manner that was like one of those horse flies that buzzes around you. Jesus and his people, his disciples, had business to do, and she had no business with them. Swat her away. Get her out of the way. It's a troubling story, and we're supposed to be troubled by this. Jesus, A, ignores her, B, sends her away, and C, tells her she's a dog, that even the crumbs under the table she's not worthy to eat. But that's what she tells him, and the table is turned. So who is ministering to whom in this story? And can we change Jesus' mind? It's not something we're very comfortable with, but it is something that is part of our history that we own as Christians and that the Jewish people had as part of their history. They were taught that any proselyte or person seeking to know what it is you believe and wants to join your community must be turned away 3 times before they are admitted. This builds inner strength. Yeah, right. How many of us, when God himself turns us away, would have the temerity to hang in there, to say, you're not getting rid of me. No, sir. She gets down on her knees. She says the words that are the quintessential words to say about Jesus. Jesus, Lord, Son of David, have mercy on me. It's the ancient Jesus prayer that's supposed to instantly bring mercy, but there's no instant about this story whatsoever. Very troubling. Well, part of what Matthew is doing is consistent with how Matthew tells the story of Jesus. If you read the very beginning of the book of Matthew, he lists the genealogy of Jesus. In that genealogy are 4 women who are irregular. We call them the irregular women. They are not Jewish. They are from other tribes, neighboring tribes. Some are from very far away. And for whatever reason, they end up being part of Jesus' ancestry. Each of them has a different story. Each of them is a star in her own way. And each of them points to the fact that Jesus' life will be woven around outsiders. So being an outsider is part of Jesus's, or ministering to outsiders, is part of Jesus's job, especially in Matthew. One of his ancestors was Ruth. And Ruth is famous for being turned away 3 times by Naomi, her mother-in-law. Naomi had 2 sons, both of whom died. These sons were married and they had no children. Naomi had left Israel because they were completely out of food and facing years and years of famine. So she was living in a foreign country. And after the death of her sons, she wanted to go back and die with her family and be on sacred ground. She told her daughters-in-law, go away from me. I have nothing more for you. There are no more sons in this body. I am old. Let me go die. You stay here with your family and stay with your connections whom you know. Well, one of them went back, but Ruth very famously said, no, I'm staying with you. Thank you very much. No, I'm staying with you. Where you go, I will go. Where you lodge, I will lodge. Your people shall be my people. That's Ruth. So, we have this Canaanite woman. Canaanite is mentioned only in Matthew's version of this story. And Canaanites were the long-time enemies of the Jews. When they first came back from wandering in the desert for 40 years with Moses, in Deuteronomy it instructs them that they will meet 7 tribes. One of those tribes are the Canaanites. Of those 7 tribes, you are to show no mercy. Wipe them out, settle the land, it's yours. Part of our Hebrew Testament is a little rough around the edges, but that's the way it was. So historically, they are to show no mercy to the Canaanites and the other 6 tribes. By the healing that happens in this reading, we are to learn about not only the persistence of this Canaanite woman, who is like Jesus' women ancestors, built of a different fiber altogether. She got more persistent, closer to him, more demanding. I want my mercy, please. And he has his mind changed so that there's this wonderful switch around, that we don't know who is providing the mercy. Is it the woman convincing him that he needs to reach out to all these people he had no idea he was supposed to reach out to? We're grateful to her, because from this point on, he does heal people who are Gentiles. The centurion at the cross, he heals, because he was convinced by this woman. Yes, we can change Jesus' mind. Yes, we need to know that our God is in communion with us, which means a relationship, which means it's two-sided, that we can talk and say, I'm frustrated, you don't seem to be hearing me down here. Let me try this another way. Let me approach you another way. And keep persisting. Don't feel downtrodden. Don't feel like you've been singled out. This woman is called a dog. It's a slur. There's no way around it. It's an insult. Jesus not only ignores her, tells her no, but he insults her. And it doesn't look like she's flapped in the least. She's unflappable. Yes, but even the master's dogs get the crumbs that fall on the table. We're supposed to think about these crumbs as the bread of life, the bread of Christ. Remember what he does with bread when he feeds the multitudes? It just seems to grow and grow and grow, right? 5 barley loaves feed all these people. So we are supposed to understand that even a little crumb under the table is worth an entire life. You could give your life for that little crumb of bread, because that is where Jesus is. There's a tradition in the Benedictine tradition, the monastery, that when a new monk comes to seek entrance into the monastery, he is to knock upon this great big door. Knock on the door, and the door is ignored the first time. And then the proselyte knocks on the door again, and someone comes to the door and shouts insults at him and says, what do you think you're doing? You have no business here. We're full. We don't need any more of you new people. And slams the door in his face. And the third time, he knocks on the door, gets on his knees, and says, I feel the call to be a Benedictine brother, to live together in unity, as our psalm says, with you brothers. And that third time, they open the door wide, and there is the entire community waiting for him or her to be welcomed by this new community. This tradition comes from what happened with the Canaanite woman, which comes from the Hebrew tradition, that we as believers need to be tested a little bit. That's what a spiritual life is all about. Push, prod, call me names. Go ahead. I dare you. It wasn't bothering her. Nowhere does it say she cringed. That would have been my reaction. Oh, sorry, God. Sorry to bother you. Sorry. I didn't say anything. I would disappear just like that. Or would I? I hope not. I used to. I have learned to be a little bit more gusty with my requests. To blow a little wind. To make a little mess. To say, I'm going to be persistent. Even if you turn me away 45 times, I'm not going anywhere until you heal my daughter. And at the moment that Jesus' heart was turned, we know what turning means. It means conversion. That Jesus was converted to the plea of this innocent woman who bore no sin of her own, that she was of this tribe that was hated by the Jews. It was not her fault, and it wasn't her daughter's fault. He is turned, he opens his heart, he feeds her the bread of life, and her daughter is healed instantly. So we are to have faith, be persistent, don't take any guff, and talk back to your God. He can take it, she can take it. Amen.